also just personality, fit, like this life is a lot different than a lot of people's lives. And, you know, I think that's tough to find. But she's amazing. Just the support she's shown me, like you said, in the good and the bad. Doesn't matter if I'm playing great, not playing great. And it makes the lows easier, and it makes the highs even sweeter when you have the right person by you, because that's what life's about, really, about the people that you do it with. You're not gonna do anything great by yourself, and to have her and to have true friends around me, that's what makes being successful fun, is when you have those people, and she's obviously one of them, so.
And bro, I love.
Here he goes.
I'm embracing myself, right?
Do you, I don't want to say no regrets or anything like that. I said I hate that word earlier. Do you ever think about that you missed out on a life that could have been fucking wild because you're the starting quarterback of the Jaguars if you were running?
I mean, I don't think about it in that way. I've thought about it. I mean, it'd be crazy to not have thought about what life would look like if I wasn't married, especially young. I don't feel like I missed out, because I have obviously a lot of friends that live that life, and when you really you get an inside look at it, that's not really what I want. You know, I think maybe at some points you're like, dang, you know, I married young, and you know, but I honestly don't really miss any of that. I think in the position I'm in now, it's like, there's also only so much I can do. I mean, there's always a camera in my face, there's always a phone in my face, so it's like, that's a whole nother thing. But I think just the value that I have in Marissa, and that I see in her, and what she provides for us and, you know, our family and all those things, is way outweighs what I think could have maybe been in another life of something else, you know? So I really don't miss it. I know that's like said cookie cutter answer, but it really, like, that's really how I feel. And I think it also helps, like, in college we spent some time apart too. We kind of went our own ways and figured stuff out, and that's kind of that's part of the journey of me, you know, my relationship with God and how that kind of started. And then we reconnected, and then we really did the thing. We got serious and then got married a couple years later. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen guys that are in that position, and it's funny because guys talk to me, not everybody's this way, but a lot of guys are like, man, I wish I had what you had. And you see them living the life that you're talking about, and I'm sure there's great parts of it and they enjoy some of it, but a lot of the guys are like, you know, or at least at some point they're like, I want to find something like that, because that's, you know, that's what I want. So I think that's also put it into perspective for me as well.
Did the knee ever really touch the ground in the proposal
it
or
did,
not?
Man, I was on my phone.
Bro, it is not in the picture, bro.
That was the first thing that came out when all that happened. And I was proposing, we were in the stadium, and there's people already stopping, like looking through the little, like, whatever cover up that we had, and they're like taking pictures. I couldn't even get proposed without someone get engaged without someone knowing. But it went down. I had a nice suit on, so I didn't go down for long, but it went down.
You know, on June 13th, 2020, you had an opportunity at a social justice rally, peaceful protest, and you had a chance to speak. It can be a very difficult place to speak for a white quarterback who may not have experienced some of the things that his counterparts and teammates had experienced. And you quoted 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love one another earnestly, because love covers a multitude of sins. And I think that's a beautiful statement in what you were speaking about, but it also kind of is a microcosm of what a locker room is. How have you adjusted to leadership of adult men? Because you're still young, even though really talented. And there's a level of difference in people in here like no other place in the world, right? When we're in high school, we're all 14 to 18, life's pretty much the same. College, the same thing. There may be a young dude that's married like you, or a young dude that's running like Chan. You have to be able to communicate with him. You have to be able to lead him, get him to follow you when you're down 27-0. Or as I was in my last 3 years, a guy who had won a Super Bowl already, who was a team captain, but who also had a family young. How have you adjusted to being able to live or lead and communicate, coexist with all of these players within this locker room?
Man, I think the same approach I've had that's helped me is, you know, coming in, like we talked about, competing for a job, especially when you're young guys, like coming in and trying to take someone's job, is I've always kind of just taken the approach of I'm gonna prove myself. I'm not gonna say much. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna lead by example from there. And I think you have to, especially in what we do, is because no one's gonna listen to a guy what they don't know. Like, he hasn't proven himself yet. I don't think anyone's gonna follow that guy. So I've always tried to do it that way. So I think it takes a little bit of time for that to come out, the leadership part of it, the vocal and the relationships with guys, is because I want to prove myself to you. I'm not going to try to tell you what to do before you even know who I am or you even have the respect for me. So I've always tried to approach it that way, especially early on. And then from there, like I said, is treat everybody the same. I'm going to treat, whether it's Zay and Christian, I'm going to treat them the same as Kevin, Austin, who's a practice squad guy. Like, I'm going to treat them the exact, because I don't care. Like, I don't care necessarily what you do or how important you are in this locker room. Like, I think when you treat people that way, people notice. And then that goes along with how you work too. I think all those things, little things that over time people notice, people respect, and they'll follow you for that. And I just always try to do it that way.
Any special places here in Jacksonville you like to go and kind of duck off to?
Now they gonna find him and they gonna be special and ducks off.
Perfect spot.
Fred. Hey, you watch the pivot? He be at the Waffle House.
But I'm pretty sure he'd be at the Waffle House.
They respect you, and all they want is an autograph and a photo.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, everybody here is great. Like, I was surprised at how, I honestly think at Clemson, which Clemson fans might not be happy to hear this, I think it was crazier there going out just because it's such a small town and it's all football. Like, here, I think people are a little bit actually more respectful of your space. They give us a little more space, so I'm not as concerned about that. But no, we go to, Hawkers is you've been to Hawkers?
Yeah.
Hawkers is good. AB Kitchens down there is really good.
I like a little spot called Añejo.
Oh, Añejo's good.
Ponte
Which is in Ponte Vedra?
Ponte Vedra.
Yeah, I go to that one too.
Yeah.
That one's good.
So,
Foxy Lady?
That's probably a strip club.
Come on, man.
I was just asking, we yelling out names. Yelling my name too, shit. I can yell my name?
It was actually called a Silver Fox, but
Foxy Lady.
I think they tore it down. But Trev, we always ask our guests, what's their biggest pivot?
I got a lot more life left to figure it out, but no,
Well, to
I
this
think,
point, yeah.
Yeah, to this point, no, that's a good question. I think I'll do two different. Like, in my career has been coming here and trying to navigate kind of the position I'm in and who I'm supposed to be with where I'm currently at, and how to figure out when the results don't come, like who am I? And I think that's something that I never really had to face until I got here, because the results were always there. It's easy to say I'm always the same person no matter what. Well, that's when things are always going well. So I think I got really challenged in that aspect, and that was a huge pivot in my life of where I proved it to myself that I'm the same every day, no matter if we're terrible or if we're great. And I think that was big in my life, and that gives me a lot of confidence now moving forward. And then personal life, like I already talked about, like a broken record, but just my faith and that relationship I have with Jesus, like when I found out my freshman year, and figuring that part of my life out really has helped me in, like I said, the other pivot of coming here and having to figure out, where my confidence is, like how that's tested finally, like that coincides with my faith, because we talked about even the Sports Illustrated thing. At the end of the day, I know that this is not the biggest thing in life. And of course, I want to be great. I want to be the best quarterback to play. I want to win a lot of Super Bowls. I want to do all those things. But at the end of the day, there's more to life. This isn't the only thing. It's a game. Like, it's a game that we all have played, that we play, and we all love it, and it's done a lot for us. But I think having that perspective has also shaped like the steps that I take and the way I interact with people and the decisions I make. I think all of that, it really goes together. More to come, more pivots to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The mural in Cartersville reads, "Defeat the noise and rule the quiet." Whether it's at the Capri restaurant or it's on the field, you seem to have found a way to do that. And there's been a lot of noise around your life, and I'm sure sometimes in here it provides some quiet, and also on the field. I've known you, I met you before your senior year at the opening, and you have not changed. You've always been the same, which is a compliment though, because you've had opportunities to be a different person. And anybody who points to that 2021 Sports Illustrated article and doesn't read to the bottom is just a dummy. Because Coach King in high school asked you, what are your goals? And he said the goals weren't win championships. It wasn't be the #1 quarterback in the country. It wasn't throw for 3,902 yards, 161 touchdowns. It was to be the best to ever do it. And whatever your motivation is, bro, to do that, then let that be the motivation. What people say outside doesn't matter. Always been a fan, bro, since I met you before your senior year.
Appreciate you, brother.
And I continue to grow as you continue to grow, bro. And we appreciate you, man. Best of luck this year.
Before we shut it down, because this is my house, but you got the keys.
I appreciate
so this is
you.
your house. I just want to say, as RC was saying, on behalf of the Pivot, myself, RC, Chan, and Alicia, we appreciate you. I know we've been trying to put it together. We saw you at the Fanatics party, and you said, look, I got you, we're gonna make it happen. But also for the people in Jacksonville, because they DM the hell out me. We need Trevor on the show. When we gonna get a Jaguar? We're gonna make it happen, right?
Well, I told you guys, because we thought about doing something maybe in the season.
Right.
And I was like, that was when we weren't playing great. I was like, we gotta get this figured out first. Like I can't hop on, because you guys, I mean, I really respect how you guys do, because there's a lot of different ways you can do a show like this, podcast, all that stuff, but you guys talk about real stuff, which I appreciate. It's not just cookie cutter, bland, you know, and I really appreciate it. I've had a great time just chopping it up with you guys, and I wanted to be in the right headspace, in the right place when we did it, because I knew it was gonna be great conversation. I don't wanna speak on what I'm football-wise, what I'm gonna do before I actually did it. So I was like, let me get right before we sit down, and then. But no, it's been great. I appreciate it.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah,
absolutely, bro. Appreciate you, my boy.
Sir.
Let's go, Fred. Come on, Fred.
Man, appreciate you, my boy. That was awesome, bro.
Great.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you, guys.
All love.
Yes, sir. Shannon.
Yes, sir.
Great to actually sit down and talk for a little bit.
Bullshit.
Man.
Yeah,
That was
it's
fun.
Good luck again this year, for sure.
Hold up.